Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to take another few minutes to go over a few more things I was just thinking about as I was labbing some Tekken 8. First of all, before I get into the video, I was talking about a Tekken 8 tutorial video that I was going to make in a previous video, and I am. It's just taking a bit longer than I thought it would, and I might actually jot down some notes and maybe type out a few lines that I might want to use as script, which I've never done before because I'm not going to have a lot of overly produced videos. It's basically just going to be me and my PlayStation 5 and just going over information and showing some stuff on the screen. But anyways, it's going to take a little bit longer than I thought, and I think I might split it up into 3 videos for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So it's coming, just be a little patient with me. But as I was messing around recording some bits for that video, I just wanted to talk about the D-pad for the PlayStation 5 is going to be awful for Tekken players. We're used to that PlayStation 4 D-pad. It's by far, I think, the best D-pad ever invented. It's got 4 separate buttons instead of a connected cross, so that allows for individual inputs to be a bit more precise. And at first, I thought the PlayStation 5 was going to be exactly like that, if not a little bit better, because the D-pad buttons are a bit harder. They're harder plastic, and it takes a little bit more effort to press them in, whereas the PlayStation 4 D-pad's a bit softer, so you can almost roll your thumb around and get the inputs and to register, but the PlayStation 5 requires some pretty firm presses. Other than that, the design is pretty much the same, and I love it. I just wish it was a bit more receptive to inputs. What that means is a lot of times, like I was working on doing electrics into a deep dash electric for Jin, and I kept doing this. And you're going to do this a lot. You're going to do your electric, you're going to go up for the deep dash electric, and you're going to get a down 2, or sometimes a forward 2. It's because that pressure that you're thinking about using for the down forward presses, it needs to be much more, and sometimes you press the forward a little bit harder than the back or the down, and you end up getting down 2 to come out, or forward 2 to come out. There are a couple of solutions. You can buy a converter that you can attach to your PlayStation 5 and hook up your PlayStation 4 controller into it. You just have to play wired. There's no wireless capability on that yet. Or you could try to get better with this, but I think I'm going to get the converter. Other than that, I just also wanted to give a couple of more tips about the D-pad users for Tekken 8. And I'm going to be right back. Let me go ahead and switch it up to Tekken 7 so I can show you the inputs. Alright, we're here in the Forgotten Realm. It's my go-to training area. Just like it. Has a good distance, and I like the floor breaks and all that good stuff. Sorry about the sounds. It's just something I do a lot, I guess, and I'll try to be more mindful of it because I know it kind of irks people. But anyways, so the big thing I want to show you as far as tips go is how to set up your controller. This is so important for D-pad players, guys. Of course, you have your basic square, triangle, X, circle, but you wanted to use your R1 as 1+2 or something handy. I really think R1 is best as 1+2, and R2 is best as 3+4. You can use these to do a lot of things like finish strings or just do tricky execution on moves, and I'll show you that in a second. You want your L1 to be something handy too. For Raven, I like 1+4. It's generally 1+4 or 2+3, just depending on the character. I like having my rage art as a button sometimes. Sometimes I don't. For PlayStation 4, I would make my L2 it for some characters. Some characters like Yoshimitsu, who has an easy rage art, I would do 1+4 as L1 and 2+3 as L2. And this is the vital one. You want to make sure your character movement is D-pad and stick always. You have options of just D-pad or both. Make sure that's on, and I'm going to show you why all of this is important right now. Okay, now as far as having your L1 and L2 as 1+2 and 3+4, for moves like Raven's 3-4, where you kind of slide your fingers from 3 to 4. Like if I do 3 to 4, I get it, but a lot of times, look, I just fail. I just don't get the timing quite right, you know? I still get it most of the time, but sometimes I don't. So what I do instead is I do 3 and then my R2 button, which is 3 plus 4. And because they're 2 different button presses, I can do it simultaneously, one right after the other in such a fast manner that I will never ever drop that. I will never accidentally do that. You know, 3 and didn't get my 4 out in time. You will always get that right. It's handy in other departments too, like you can finish strings. Let's say her back 2-2-2 string. You can do back 2-2 and hit 3 plus 4, or you can, you know, just do different things with different strings, you know. Now, the reason you want your movement as your L stick and your D-pad, and you're like, oh well, maybe my left thumb is going to fuck up my D-pad, so when I'm trying to do my D-pad motions, I accidentally hit the stick and I do something I don't want to. I agree, and that's why I used to do the pad by itself until I learned this trick. I can't show this to you on screen because it pauses the video. Go into your PlayStation settings, and this is for the PlayStation 4 or 5, and the 5 actually does it better. You want to go into your settings, you want to go into your accessibility, and go to your controllers. You can remap your controller however you like, but you don't have to do anything other than one feature that you can do is switch your L and left and right sticks. So once you do that, and now you have your D-pad and your L stick as a movement, now your movement becomes your right stick. So it's not on your left-handed side. It's not going to mess with your movement on your D-pad whatsoever. But what it does is it allows you to use your right hand that you use for your buttons now for movement. But you're not going to primarily use that as movement. But what you're going to do is some motions are difficult, like Raven's backflip is a up back tapped twice. So you know, you can get it pretty good, but see how she hesitates sometimes? Every now and then. You want to know a way to do that without fail every time? Hold back with your right stick with your right hand, so you're just holding back, and just tap up on the D-pad. You're getting both motions simultaneously, and it will always, always, always be the cartwheel. Never anything else. This is a similar thing that you can do on hitboxes. You can hold back, and while you're holding back, you can tap up and do the same thing. It's the same concept. You're just doing it on your controller. So it's like one of those advantages that comes with a hitbox that you can make happen on your PlayStation. It's really handy, and you can do a lot of things with this. Like for example, Raven has this wave dash where you start off in crouch and then you do the wave dash, you know. But it's tricky. It's tricky to get started, you know, and you know, once you get going, you can do it pretty good. But if you want to do it perfectly, just hold down and tap forward. And you got, it's 2 taps of forward, because you got to tap once to get the down forward motion, and when you release you get the down motion, and then when you tap forward again you get the down forward motion. So you just hold down on the right stick and you do that. This is really good for Street Fighter too. You know those times where you're blocking and then you want to go to offense? So I would block with my my right stick with my right hand. That leaves my left hand on my D-pad open to the instant I want to stop blocking and go on offense. I'm ready to go right away. So, and it works with Raven too. I can like block, forward, or you know, something forward, or forward 3 is what I want to do. Yeah, there we go. That kind of stuff. So you can play with it and do a lot of things. But the best thing is, you can actually get a decent Korean backdash going with this. I don't have the muscle memory yet. I've been working on it. But you're using the inputs I'm showing you right now is from my right hand on the right stick. I'm just doing that. So basically you're just going to tap and really just flick down back while you're dashing back with your normal dash on the D-pad. So you do back, and you kind of hold that second back for when you do the dash, and then you flick your right stick down back, and you can do that at varying speeds. See, like you do it slow, that's the way you do it, but if you speed it up, I'm not perfect at it because I'm still working on the muscle memory on it, but you can start working on your backdash that way. A lot of D-pad players, we really don't mess too much with a hard backdash because I mean, we can get like maybe like 2 and 3 fairly easily, or pretty religiously. I'm not a great backdasher at all, but it's because when you're hitting back and down back with the D-pad, it's so sensitive. You get a lot of inputs that you don't want. Sometimes you get a pure down or a pure back when you need a down back, blah, 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 blah. But when you're using the right stick, you're just doing back on the D-pad, but holding that second back. So when you hold that second back and you tap down back on your right stick, so if I just do that, watch, I'm getting the perfect sequence of events for the Korean backdash. I just don't have the spacing, and that's where the execution comes in, and the practice comes in to be able to space that out to get that right sequence of inputs that you need for that. But that is like a really high-level technique you can do with it. But things like this and the flips and even the wave dash are much simpler. It's just holding the right stick down and doing those things. So guys, do this stuff with your D-pad, utilize it for the utmost ability that you can. For Tekken 8, what I can actually do is have my L1 as 2+3, which is also your generic heat engager, so that's always your L1. If you press forward L1, back L1, down L1, up forward L1, it does something on your move list that is corresponding with 2 or 3. I use my L2 as my 1+4, same concept, just with that sequence of buttons instead of 2+3. Then I actually, on the PlayStation 5, you got 2 other options. You can use your right stick and your left stick. Your right stick is perfect for Rage Art. Like, for example, Kazuya's Rage Art, a lot of times I end up getting his Crouch Dash 1 because I'm doing it too fast. I do a dash, and then I'm trying to do down forward 1+2, and it registers as a Crouch Dash into 1+2, and that sucks, and I miss my Rage Art, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. So I just do dash, click in my right stick, and it works every single time. It's flawless. Yeah, do that. And my left stick I use as all 4 buttons for my key charge. Whether you want to be a douche or you just like doing key charge setups like I do, that's a pretty handy thing to do, especially at the wall. Do that kind of stuff. Anyways, sorry to take up so much of your time and to ramble and stutter and stuff like that. That's exactly why I'm kind of working on some notes and a script for this how to play Tekken video, or how to get good at Tekken video. So there is not a lot of that, and I'm not wasting your time, and I'm just getting right to the points of how to become an effective player. I'm going to talk about things at all levels. Like, for example, for beginners, your number 1 tip is to stop pressing buttons. You know, everybody knows this, but there's a lot of other things too. Like, for example, we're gamers. We all have the itch to use and play and press buttons. That's what we're kind of doing. You know, that's why people have fidget spinners and shit like that. But use it. Do it. Just don't do it on the right side of your controller. Do it on the left side, on your D-pad. Use that fidgetiness to always keep moving. It doesn't have to be a Korean backdash. Just do a backdash into a sidewalk, into a duck, into a... Always move, you know, so, and you satisfy that fidgetiness and you get some effective Tekken play out of it. So that's going to be my first tip, and there's going to be tons more coming. There's going to be 3 videos for basic, intermediate, and advanced, and I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you then. Take care, have a great one, and stay cool.